No one checks on the strong one until she breaks. You ever notice how your breath holds itself before the day even starts? Like your body knows, before your mind can admit it, that it's already bracing for everything. You smile, you move, you answer, but something inside stays clenched. Like even rest would disappoint someone. What if no one's checking on you? Because you trained them not to? What if your strength became the reason no one sees you? Not because they don't care, but because they never had to wonder how much it's costing you to be okay. Some days, you get through it all. But if someone asked you what you felt, you wouldn't know how to answer. Because it's not sadness, not anger, not even loneliness. Really, it's just this weight. Not heavy enough to break you, but just enough to bend you a little more every day. No one sees it. They see your calendar, your smile, the way you remember birthdays, or show up before they ask. They don't see the pause. The one you take right before replying, of course, again. Or how you rehearse your, it's no problem, until it almost sounds like the truth. But it's not. And maybe it hasn't been for a long time. You weren't born with this. You became this, piece by piece, moment by moment, in rooms where your feelings were too much. So you learned to fold them down. Quietly. It wasn't one big memory. It was the background noise of your life. A parent sighing before you asked for help. A teacher praising how mature you were for never complaining. Friends who needed you, but never asked how you were doing. And so you adapted. You learned that being needed was safer than being seen. That as long as you stayed useful, you wouldn't be left. That being strong meant being silent, even when you were hurting. You probably know this feeling too, even if you've never said it. You offer to help before they even ask. You sense tension in a room like it's your fault. You prepare for disaster before there's even a crack. Your body scans for need. Your mind stays 2 steps ahead. And your heart? It waits. Waits for someone to notice that you're not actually okay. But the longer you wait, the harder it gets to even admit you need anything at all. Because what if they see the whole truth? And it ruins the image? The one where you're strong, capable, low maintenance, the one who holds everyone together. Even when you're unraveling, it shows up in small, brutal ways. The ache in your jaw when no one's watching. The breath you hold before walking into the kitchen, already bracing to be asked for something. The way your hands move automatically. Packing lunches, cleaning up, organizing, fixing. Like your worth is in your usefulness. Like if you stopped, you'd disappear. And sometimes, you believe that without all the doing, there's nothing left to love. There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix. The kind that builds in your nervous system. From years of saying, yes, when what you meant was, I can't. From apologizing for needing space. For crying. For being human. And no one ever asked you to. Not directly. But you felt it, in their disappointment, in their silence, in how fast they moved on. When your strength cracked just a little. So you learned to crack in private. To cry quietly in the shower. To swallow the lump in your throat when someone said, you're always so put together. To smile through a migraine. To take care of everyone else. Even when your own hands were shaking. And the worst part? They don't mean to miss it. They just don't think to ask. Because you've never let them see how much it costs you to be this okay. And now, you don't know how to stop. You flinch at kindness. You freeze when someone says, let me help. You don't know what to do with softness anymore. Because you've lived so long in survival. Hyper-aware, hyper-functioning, hyper-alone. And even in the rare moments of peace, your body doesn't relax. It waits. Like stillness is suspicious. Like something will break. The second you exhale, you keep performing calm, even when you're unraveling on the inside. Because falling apart feels like failure. And you've spent your whole life trying not to disappoint anyone. But underneath all that effort is a quiet, aching question. What if being strong isn't who you are? Just what you've had to be? What if no one really knows you? Only the version you've perfected to make everything easier. For everyone else? Sometimes it hits you in the middle of nothing. The quiet after everyone's gone to bed. The second you put your phone down. The moment the world stops asking. And all that's left is how much you've given, without ever being asked, what it's costing you. And you feel tired, not physically, existentially, like your soul is frayed from holding things it was never meant to carry. But you keep going, because you don't know how to pause without guilt, or how to say no without apology, or how to be seen without performing. Maybe this isn't even about strength anymore. Maybe it's about survival, about staying one step ahead of collapse, about managing the edges, so no one sees how close you are to breaking. And maybe that's the most invisible pain of all. Not that you're overwhelmed, but that no one even suspects it. You're not asking to feel better, just to not feel so far from yourself. And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to wonder if anyone ever really saw you beneath all that strength. Maybe that's the most invisible pain of all. Not that you're overwhelmed, but that no one even suspects it. And this is where it quietly got worse. Because once you become the strong one, no one asks what it's costing you. They just keep asking for more, for help, for presence. And even when you want to say no, something in your chest caves before the word gets out. You smile, you nod, you say yes, with a voice that barely belongs to you anymore. Then you lock the door. And the silence is deafening. Not because it's loud, but because in it, you realize no one's coming. No one's coming to hold space for your unraveling. No one's coming to say, you've done enough. So you sit there, still holding it, still pretending it's not heavy. You wake up tired, but not from sleep, from bracing, from performing. Your breath catches before your feet hit the ground. Like your body already knows. It doesn't belong to you today. You move through the morning like a machine that doesn't make noise unless it's breaking. And you don't make noise. You've mastered the art of seeming fine. But your jaw aches by noon. Your shoulders won't drop. And when someone asks how you are, your mouth opens, but your heart stays behind your ribs. Tight, silent, waiting to be noticed, without having to fall apart. And this is what no one ever asked her. What happens to the one who always stays strong? No one thinks to wonder. Because your strength has become a given. A setting. A background hum that holds the room together. But even foundations crack. Even anchors sink. And somewhere along the way, you stopped feeling like a person. And started feeling like a function. The dependable one. The one who doesn't flinch. The one who absorbs. Without ever leaking. But you do. You just do it quietly. In the way your voice gets softer over time. In how you shrink your needs down. Until they fit into silence. In the way you don't ask for anything. Because the not asking feels safer than the chance of being unmet. And then, without warning, it comes back. In a grocery store aisle. Your chest tightens, but not from anything obvious. Just everything. In a friend's text. The one where they vent for an hour. And forget to ask how you're holding up. In the mirror, where you look like someone holding their breath. And calling it composure. You keep thinking this is just how life works. That everyone is this tired. That everyone feels this, unseen. But the truth is, you stopped expecting to be seen. Because it hurt too much when you weren't. You tell yourself you're okay. Not because you believe it, but because it ends the conversation. And you learned young. The less you need, the more they love you. So now you've become a master of invisibility. Even when someone stares right at you, you wonder if they see past the role you've been playing for years. You're in the room, but you don't feel in it. You're alive, but you don't feel present. You're functioning, but you don't feel human. This isn't depression. It's something quieter, something lonelier. It's the way your fingers hesitate above a text. Because you don't want to sound like a burden. It's how your smile comes easier than your tears. Because you've rehearsed it more. It's how you pause before walking into your own home. Like you need a second to become whatever version of yourself they still need you to be. Not because they ask for it, but because they're used to you never needing anything. And you're scared of what would happen if you suddenly did. You've trained the world to believe you don't break, and now you're not sure How to let them see that you already have. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in small ways. 100 quiet collapses that no one noticed. You stopped singing in the car. You stopped reaching out. You stopped laughing the way you used to. Like you meant it. And when the day ends, you stare at the ceiling. Like it might answer a question you're too tired to form. But that wasn't the end of it. Because the ache didn't leave. It just moved deeper. It built a home in the soft parts of you you no longer let anyone touch. And now, your strength feels like armor you can't take off. Even when you're alone. Even when it's safe. Even when you ache to be held by something softer than expectation. And in that silence, something broke inside. Not loudly. Not in a way anyone could see. Just a small shift. Like something inside you realized it's been waiting too long to be chosen without having to earn it. You didn't speak, not because you had nothing to say, but because no one ever stayed long enough to hear it. And maybe that's the ache beneath the ache. That even when you whisper, the world still doesn't lean in. Maybe it wasn't strength. Maybe it was just fear of what would happen if you stopped being the one holding everything up. You still don't know how to let your hands be empty. But maybe you've noticed. They're tired. It still hurts. But it doesn't feel hidden anymore. You're not okay. But maybe you're not invisible. What if it was never about being strong? What if it was about being safe enough to be soft? When did resting start feeling like something you had to earn? When did enough start meaning only when no one needs you? You don't have to carry the world tonight. Just breathe. Even if it's quiet. Even if it shakes. You're still here. And that matters. More than anyone's ever said out loud. Stay. Just for a minute. Without performing. Without being useful. Just stay.